Good morning. This is Pastor Jason of Kona Faith Center with a word for today. And the word for today is deserve. God gives us the kind of leaders we deserve. I find it interesting that when we, as a people, live lives of selfishness, of craving worldly, sinful desires, of rejecting God and His Word, that God responds by removing the mighty man, the prophet, the prudent, the captain, the honorable man, the counselor, the skillful, the eloquent, and gives us instead the selfish, the petulant, the impertinent, the foolish, the unskilled, the untrained, the undisciplined, childish leaders. When I read this today, I thought about many of our leaders. We have many leaders who have no interest in anything but advancing themselves. We have leaders who are amazingly unintelligent, people that lack basic public speaking skills, who demonstrate a complete lack of understanding of the issues of the day, who appear to lack the basic critical thinking skills required to be an entry-level management trainee, and yet they are in positions of authority. They vote for legislation that they do not seem to perceive the outcomes of, who definitely don't even think about the unintended consequences, who lack the basic ability to properly handle money that's required of any adult, who have absolutely no virtue, no moral excellence, that are corrupt. And I think this is our fault. God gives us the kind of leaders we deserve. Children. While I do think that Christians have a responsibility to civic duty, to lead, to vote aligned with Christian values, to volunteer in their communities, I think the solution to our leadership deficit is a wholesale turn to Jesus. In doing so, God will give us the kind of leaders we deserve. So where do we start? At the kitchen table, in our extended families, with our friends and neighbors, and we start with Jesus conversations, not political ones. We look for Holy Ghost moments. We talk about righteousness and holiness and godliness and moral excellence. We make disciples who make disciples. And the Lord promises that as we turn to Him, He will wash away the filth. He will purge the sin and leave that which is beautiful, glorious, and excellent. We need to teach sound doctrine, which starts with us learning sound doctrine. We need to help people to be sober, serious, temperate, sound in faith, in love, in patience, exhort people to be self-controlled, which means we need to be the example. We need to show good works. We need to show integrity. We need to show gravity. We need to demonstrate incorruptibility and sound speech. We need to exhort people to obedience, which means we need to live in obedience to God and His Word ourselves. We need to teach people to live to please God well in everything, which means we need to live to please God well in everything. We need to teach people to show the complete fidelity to God that exemplifies the teaching of the Word, which means we need to show the complete fidelity to God that exemplifies the teaching of the Word. Now, God's grace has been made available to all men, so no excuses. God's grace has been made available to all men, teaching us to deny ungodliness and worldly desires, to live soberly, righteously, and in godliness. We need to teach with authority. This does not mean that we all need to become clergy and get our own pulpits. What this does mean is that we need to initiate Jesus conversations with all those that God brings our way, making sure that they are dialogues and not monologues. Every Christian has this responsibility. As we change ourselves, as we change our homes, our families, our neighborhoods, our communities, one person at a time, God will give us the kind of leaders we deserve. The word for today is deserve. God bless. Check in tomorrow.